Hi, welcome back to my channel. You might be wondering why the setup feels a bit different, and that's because I'm in the kitchen of my home, and today I'll be making some coffee. I've already grinded the beans and I'm just gonna pour in coffee as I talk, so let's just get to it. So what is this video? This video is basically me sharing some tips I have. I guess like finance tips, not really finance, but also like sustainability tips. I realized after binging a lot of videos on YouTube that we don't really have like finance gurus or like sustainability gurus in Singapore, which kind of is a shame, but I'm not trying to pose to plugging that gap, but I do want to at least share some tips in that area that might be a bit helpful for Singaporeans. So yeah, I'm just going to be sharing some of my own tips that really helped me save money, but also kind of shift towards a more eco-conscious lifestyle. So the first tip that I have is to really look at your beauty regime, look at your skincare regime, and figure out what are the things that you want to keep and the things that you don't want to keep. And then in doing so, figure out what products you want to move towards. So my own take is that I am moving towards bar soaps. So I'm using a shampoo bar soap as well as body soap and facial bar soap. Now, I would say that this has really helped me a lot in terms of efficiency. Like I mean, one bar of soap is about, I would say, roughly the same price as like, pretty good brand products. But using the bar soap really helps me save up on how much product that I'm using, and also the packaging is a lot more eco-friendly. Usually they're only wrapped in paper or they're very minimal packing, which is great because most shampoo bottles or body soap bottles are made of hard plastic or like a type of plastic that is not so easily biodegradable. Like, it's not really biodegradable, it's harder to degrade as well. So that's my own take, that I've switched to pretty much these body soaps, and also I've pared down my skincare regime to kind of like organic ingredients such as like oils and simple toning water that's made of like very simple ingredients. So that has helped not just in saving money because I get to refill them as and when I need them, but also in terms of just being more friendly in the kinds of products that I use. The second tip that I have is actually related to what I'm doing now. It is about making my own drinks. Now, I know like for a lot of young people, we like to go out and have drinks. We like to go out and have coffee and drink cocktails, and I'm one of those people as well. So I'm always making my own coffee. This is because I've made the compromise that I really love to drink good quality coffee, and so I buy myself a pack of beans every month and I make my own coffee at home. And so this means that I'm not going out to buy coffee, and this helps not just save money but also save on the environmental costs if in case I am buying takeaway coffee. I won't buy as much, and I would bring my coffee to work actually. And not just that, I think when I buy my own beans, I'm also in charge of knowing where I'm sourcing my beans from. And this helps if the brand that you're buying from, the company that you're buying from, is transparent about where they source their coffee, and they have this more direct relationship with the farmers. So that's a win for you. In terms of cocktails, it never hurts to learn how to make your own drinks at home. I'm not too sure about the sustainability part on alcoholic drinks, but I'm sure it can be kind of like the same logic. Finding smaller companies or businesses that source more sustainably, and then learning how to make the drinks on your own at home would save you a lot of money. Now, the third thing that I recommend in terms of my own tips is fashion related, and that is to thrift or to buy secondhand instead of buying fresh fast fashion. I've been thrifting for about like 5 or 6 years now, and at first it started as a hobby because thrifting was fun. It was like a really easy way to find like old stuff, like retro stuff that was kind of cool No one was really doing it at that time, so I did it more as like a creative hobby. But lately people have been taking up thrifting quite seriously, so there's a lot more resources for you out there to learn how to thrift. One thing that I really love about thrifting is that it helps you find your own style, and usually it's cheaper as compared to buying from, I guess like mid-tier consumer brands. I would say that once you start thrifting, you buy secondhand, you start to really appreciate products for their longevity and their quality, and that immediately kind of turned me off from fast fashion, off from fast-paced like consumer brands that advocate for constant consumption. So that has really helped me a lot in terms of saving money, but also being a lot more like conscious of my consumption. And it didn't really start from being a sustainable habit. I think it really started from my own desire to figure out like what clothes I wanted to wear, and thrifting just happened to have such a great avenue for me to experiment with clothes without blowing a budget, like blowing a huge hole in my pocket. So that's that. And my last tip is, before my coffee is done, my last tip is to make use of the free resources that are already around you. And for me, that manifests in using the library to read. Now, this booktube, like this YouTube, is actually primarily a booktube. So I have mentioned this before a few times, that I read books from the library as much as possible instead of buying books. I have my own criteria. So usually if it's a very famous book, the libraries normally have them. If it's a new release, the libraries will also have them. So for these two categories, most likely your public libraries will have these titles. If not, I would have to go and search, like say for example, maybe I could buy as an ebook because I already have an ebook reader. If not, then I would have to search around if I can borrow it from someone, etc. So my first number one tip, like as in my number one rule when it comes to like whatever hobby that I have, is to always find it secondhand, or to find it in resources that are already available to me. And that is of course cost efficient. It saves you a lot of money, but it's also very, very eco-friendly. And you realize that, those things kind of come together a lot. So it's a win-win for you and for the earth. My last tip, which might not always be true in Singapore, is that I kind of said like my fourth tip was the last one, but this is my very last one, and it's your diet change. Now, adopting a flexitarian diet, and that means like becoming more vegetarian or vegan in your dietary choices. I know that in Singapore being vegan is a bit hard because vegetarian is more of the norm. It's not very easy to find vegan options or alternatives in Singapore, so I would recommend adopting more of a vegetarian diet first. And you might think like, hey, like vegan stuff, vegetarian stuff is expensive. The fact is that I don't necessarily think so. You could be going to your local hawker centers and requesting for no meat, requesting for no eggs, and you could support your local hawker centers or food centers by telling the owners that you would like to have some meat-free alternatives. This will also help all these owners, like business owners, understand that there is a demand for meatless alternatives, and you don't have to go to big expensive vegan names in order to get your vegan requirements or your vegetarian requirements. It's really not necessary. I myself have been doing this, and omitting meat from my diet has been really helpful in saving money, because oftentimes the vegetarian options are cheaper, and also like just like vegetarian bihun or like cai peng, like getting the vegetables itself is a lot cheaper than getting meat. So that has been saving me money as well. And that was something I did not expect, because I was going vegetarian or vegan, like flexitarian, because I wanted to be a lot more eco-conscious. I wanted to do my own part in lessening the overall consumption of meat. But it did have this outcome, which was a pleasant surprise, so I welcomed it. So that's all. I realized that there was actually 5 tips I provided, and my coffee is about done. So thanks so much for joining me in this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it also made saving money and becoming environmentally friendly those two things actually have a lot of overlaps. They're not actually that far apart in my own experience. If you do want to watch more videos like this from me, do let me know. I do want to branch out more from bookish content and into more of like lifestyle stuff, especially things in Singapore. So yeah, cool. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.